Okay, the Reggie Bush thing came out a week or two ago with him crying that he wants his Heisman Trophy back and this, that, and that. And I say, okay, well, okay, well, whatever. And now today, those 4 or 5 Ohio State players who got free tattoos or whatever back in 2010, Terrelle Pryor was the main one, but the quarterback. There was 3 or 4, and then they had to vacate all their wins and whatever. And now they come out today with this joint statement. They demand that their records be reinstated and that their stats be reinstated and blah, blah, blah. Listen, this is a bunch of crybaby cheaters. This isn't how things work, okay? 20 years ago, the speed limit on the interstate that runs through town here was 55 miles an hour. Then it went to 60, now it's at 65, and then when you get just out of town, it goes to 70. Okay, if I got a speeding ticket 15 years ago for going 65 in a 60, and then today they changed the speed limit to 70, I don't get my money back. That's not how society works. This is the kind of thing that really pisses people off. No accountability. It doesn't matter in life whether you agree or disagree with a rule. It doesn't matter. When you agree to play college football in 2010, you know the rules. If you break the rules, there are consequences. It doesn't matter that the rule changes 12 years later, 11 years later. That doesn't matter. You didn't break the rule in 2021. You broke the rule in 2010. In the Reggie Bush thing, I don't understand what these changes, I don't understand how that would have changed what happened to Reggie Bush. This guy and his family were given houses, cars, free rent, furniture, their travel expenses were paid. How is that? Anyway, this is just, these two things here are indications of a bigger problem in society as a whole. And it's not unique to football players or football teams or college or anything else. This permeates every area of society. Lack of individual and personal responsibility. These players, in Reggie Bush's case, Reggie Bush and his family, and in the case of these 5 Ohio State players, these players knew the rules, signed a contract to attend those universities under those rules, and knowingly and willingly broke those rules. Period. Period. You can't go back, in Ohio State's case, 11 years later, in Reggie Bush's case, 16 years later, and go, oh, well, now the rule has changed, so let's just pretend he didn't break the rule. No. Life doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. If I get a speeding ticket for going 55 and a 50, and 10 years down the road, they change the speed limit to 60, no one's giving me my money back. That's just not how it works. This comes up with marijuana all the time. Most recently with the Sha'Carri Richardson, the sprinter from LSU, who is fastest woman in the U.S., and was going to compete in the Tokyo Olympics in the 100 and 200 meter sprint, whatever. She failed a drug test positive for marijuana. And you hear people, oh, this is ridiculous. Marijuana should be legal anyway. Well, okay, great. It doesn't matter whether marijuana should or shouldn't be legal. It doesn't even matter whether marijuana is or isn't illegal. The International Olympic Committee has a rule. You cannot smoke weed. This thing that, well, I don't agree with this rule, so therefore I shouldn't have to follow the rule, and if I get caught breaking the rule, I shouldn't have any punishment. That's not how society works. At least that's not how it's supposed to work. Gee, look, in Colorado, weed is legal. You can't show up at work high. They'll fire you. You can't go, well, why are you firing me? Weed is legal. Yes, alcohol is legal in every state. You can't show up to work drunk. It's got nothing to do with legal or illegal or anything else. It's about following simple rules. These aren't rules that are set in place to target individual people. These are blanket rules that apply to everybody across the sport of college football, or in case of the Olympics, any human being on the planet Earth that wants to participate in the Olympics. You have to know that in the 3 to 6 months leading up to the Olympics, you could be tested at any time. And it's not a secret that marijuana is a banned substance. It has nothing to do with the legality of marijuana. There are countries all over the world where marijuana is legal. Those athletes still can't smoke marijuana and participate in the Olympics. It's a rule. What is wrong with rules? Everything has rules. Life has rules. Reggie Bush at Southern Cal and his family and these 4 or 5 players from Ohio State knew the rules. They knew the rules. They still signed a contract to play football for those universities under those rules. They then knowingly and willingly broke those rules. Why does it matter that 11 and 16 years down the road, some rule in college football has changed? Now we got to go back throughout history and every single what about Todd Gurley? What are we going to do about him? He was suspended 4 games for selling $900 worth of autographs in the back seat of a car. How do we make it right by him? Do we give him... That's it. Todd Gurley should get 4 more games of college eligibility. Todd Gurley should be able to come back to UGA right now and play in any 4 games this year that we want him to play in. That's only fair. They changed the rule now. Do you see how ridiculous that sounds? Do you see how ridiculous that sounds? There are rules. There are rules in college football. There are rules in the Olympics. There are rules in life. Learn to play by the rules. If not, and you're caught, take personal responsibility for your actions. Have a good morning.